was reach the top?
Yup. Me and my little cousin TJ, RP TJ, yup. And that hit like 700K. That damn near hit $1 million, and that.
The hip-hop world was rocked to its core when Florida rapper Foolio, born Charles Jones, was tragically gunned down outside a Tampa Holiday Inn on June 23, 2024. The 26-year-old artist, known for his gritty lyrics and controversial feuds, had been celebrating his birthday when his life was brutally cut short. Now, months after the shocking incident, newly released surveillance footage has shed an eerie light on the events leading up to the murder, intensifying the hunt for his killers and amplifying the whispers of deeper, more sinister connections. Foolio's murder wasn't just another case of street violence, it was a calculated and cold-blooded execution. The newly unveiled footage, presented during a recent Tampa police press conference, captures the moments before and during the rapper's assassination. The video reveals 3 suspects meticulously orchestrating their positions in the hotel parking lot. The attackers, clad in dark clothing and masks, are seen moving strategically into place. Their movements betray careful planning as they use parked vehicles and shadows to avoid detection. Moments later, they unleash a deadly hail of gunfire on the unsuspecting rapper, leaving him fatally wounded before fleeing the scene. The brutal ambush has sent shockwaves through the community, and the detailed footage now stands as a key piece of evidence in unraveling this horrifying crime. Foolio's death ignited an outpouring of grief and rage from fans, peers, and the hip-hop community at large. Tributes flooded social media, with many mourning the loss of a young artist who had risen from the rough streets of Jacksonville to carve his space in the music industry. While Foolio's lyrics often painted vivid pictures of violence and struggle, his untimely demise struck a nerve, reflecting the harsh realities faced by many in the industry. However, the mourning period quickly turned into a quest for answers. Who could have carried out such a calculated attack? And more importantly, why? As the questions grew louder, the streets began buzzing with rumors linking Foolio's murder to ongoing tensions within Jacksonville's rap scene, a world fraught with rivalries, diss tracks, and real-life violence. The release of the surveillance video has drastically shifted the trajectory of the investigation. With the assailants' movements, Young and Ace's name has loomed large in the aftermath of Foolio's murder, with fans and critics alike speculating about his potential connection to the crime. The 2 rappers have been embroiled in a years-long feud, exchanging diss tracks and incendiary social media posts. While there is no direct evidence linking Young and Ace to the attack, the timing and nature of the crime have fueled rumors that he may have had some knowledge of or indirect ties to the incident. Now laid bare, law enforcement has intensified its efforts to track them down. Reports suggest that one of the suspects, already identified, is now on the run, while another has folded under pressure and begun cooperating with authorities. The individual's cooperation has added more fuel to the fire, with allegations surfacing about the deeper involvement of others in Foolio's circle. According to whispers circulating in the streets and on social media, the suspects weren't just random attackers, they were part of a broader scheme, potentially tied to Foolio's ongoing feuds with rival Jacksonville rapper Young and Ace. Adding to the intrigue are cryptic social media posts from both Young and Ace and his affiliates in the days following the murder. Some fans have interpreted these posts as veiled references to the crime, while others dismiss them as coincidence or clout-chasing behavior. Regardless, the speculation has cast a shadow over Young and Ace's reputation, with many questioning whether this tragic feud has claimed yet another life. The streets have always played a critical role in cases like this, and Foolio's murder is no exception. With the release of the footage, the streets are buzzing with fresh theories, accusations, and even confessions. The combination of a cooperating suspect and mounting public pressure has law enforcement hopeful that they are closer than ever to bringing the killers to justice. However, the unfolding drama has also revealed the darker side of street justice. Some individuals eager to avenge Foolio's death have reportedly taken matters into their own hands, escalating tensions in an already volatile environment. Foolio's murder and the subsequent investigation highlight the grim realities of the rap industry's intersection with street culture. While many artists use their music to escape the violence of their past, others find themselves trapped in cycles of retribution and conflict that blur the lines between entertainment and real-life danger. For Foolio, whose lyrics often reflected his tumultuous upbringing and ongoing struggles, his murder serves as a tragic reminder of how quickly life can be taken in this world. For law enforcement and the hip-hop community, it's a call to address the systemic issues that perpetuate this violence, from poverty and lack of opportunity to the glorification of conflict in music and media. As the investigation into Foolio's murder intensifies, fans, family, and friends remain united in their demand for justice. The surveillance footage, coupled with mounting evidence and public scrutiny, has put significant pressure on the suspects and anyone potentially connected to the crime. While Foolio's killers may have thought they could carry out their plan without consequence, the release of this footage has shifted the narrative. Now, with one suspect reportedly on the run and another cooperating, it seems that justice may finally be within reach for those who loved Foolio. This development is a bittersweet moment. While it brings them closer to the answers they desperately seek, it also serves as a stark reminder of the life lost and the void left behind. As the case unfolds, one thing is clear: Foolio's legacy will not be defined by the violence that took him, but by the impact he left on his community and the music world. As the investigation unfolded, 3 suspects were apprehended in connection with Foolio's murder. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office JSO arrested 18-year-old Sean Geit, 21-year-old Alicia Andrews, and 21-year-old Isaiah Chance Jr. Body cam video from the arrest was published by JSO on social media, adding to the already building evidence against the 3. Saturday afternoon, JSO SWAT, CPR, and gang unit members located and arrested Sean Geit. Alicia Andrews and Isaiah Chance Jr. read the JSO post on X, formerly known as Twitter. All 3 suspects were promptly taken into custody for their involvement in the murderous plan grew more evident. With each passing day, 2 new individuals were revealed as perpetrators in the murder: Rashad Murphy and his brother Davian Murphy, when Rashad was detained following a prolonged standoff. In Jacksonville, Davian remains at large. Police believe Davian, 27, was also involved in the murder, with surveillance footage showing him wearing an orange ski mask and firing at Foolio's car from a distance. Authorities are urging the public to come forward with any information about his whereabouts, as Davian has a long criminal history, including convictions for aggravated assault and firearm possession. Surveillance footage had surfaced online via TMZ showing one of the suspects firing an assault rifle into Foolio's vehicle. While the brief clip stirred outrage, the release of the full video confirmed what many had feared: Foolio's death was the result of a meticulously orchestrated setup. It's clear from that video what they were set out to do and what they had planned to do, the police officer reiterated, underscoring the premeditated nature of the attack. The chilling footage was only one part of a larger narrative painting the suspects in a damning light. All 3 suspects, Geit, Andrews, and Chance, pleaded not guilty to murder charges during their arrest arraignment in Tampa. However, the atmosphere in the courtroom revealed something far more sinister. Rather than showing any remorse for their alleged role in the murder, the suspects appeared relaxed and indifferent to the gravity of their situation. Isaiah Chance, also known as Gaz, was even seen bobbing his head to the infamous diss track "Who I Smoke" by Foolio's rival Youngin Ace. Meanwhile, Alicia Andrews was caught joking with her lawyer during the proceedings, reinforcing the cold-heartedness behind the crime. This behavior has only fueled public outrage and reinforced the prosecution's determination to seek the harshest penalties on Monday. Florida prosecutors made their intentions plain: they would pursue the death sentence for Gathright Chance and Rashad Murphy if convicted. The revelation made during a news conference underscored the gravity of the charges against the accused. All 3 face counts of premeditated first-degree murder with a firearm, as well as conspiracy to commit murder. Prosecution indicated that under Florida law, everyone engaged in the plotting of a murder might be held guilty for the victim's death even if they didn't fire the trigger. This legal doctrine assures that all 5 suspects, including Davian Murphy, will be prosecuted for the murder of Foolio regardless of their unique participation in the shooting. Alicia Andrews, who is charged with conspiracy to conduct premeditated murder, was noticeably removed from the state's death penalty notice, but her participation in the crime remains relevant along with the others. She faces a possible life sentence without parole. The evidence against the accused is building, and the prosecution has set out a convincing case of premeditation. Under Florida law, premeditated murder entails a deliberate choice to kill. Kill made in advance of the act. The timetable for this, yet their callous attitudes both during the crime and in court have certainly sealed their fate. Florida's judicial system reserves the death sentence for the most heinous crimes, and it looks more probable that the suspect's casual behavior will play a factor in their punishment as the case against the accused acquires speed. One essential person remains at large. 27-year-old Davian Murphy, despite the efforts of law enforcement, has managed to avoid arrest for more than 2 months, fueling rumors that he may have left Jacksonville or perhaps modified his look to evade discovery with a lengthy rap sheet and history of violent crimes. Devon is regarded as armed and dangerous. Police are requesting anybody with knowledge about his location to come forward, as they think he had a crucial part in Foolio's murder. Tampa police are devoted to catching Davon and bringing him to justice. As a documented member of the 1,200 gang, Davon has been engaged in a violent feud with Foolio's 6-block gang, making his participation in the murder both personal and intentional as Davon is on the run. Alicia Andrews, one of the few female suspects in the case, has adopted a different strategy. Sources close to the investigation have revealed that Andrews is cooperating with law enforcement, and it appears she is willing to snitch on her co-conspirators in exchange for leniency. According to reports, Andrews has already started shifting blame onto the other suspects, casting herself as a victim of circumstance. Whether this strategy will work remains to be seen, but it's clear that Andrews is doing anything she can to escape the heaviest potential penalty. Alicia Andrews seeks to find a way out in the wake of the horrifying death of Florida artist Foolio. Alicia Andrews has been thrown into the heart of one of the most high-profile criminal cases of the year. Although the gruesome homicide startled the hip-hop community, the accompanying investigation has presented a picture of deliberate brutality as the case proceeds. Alicia Andrews, one of the 5 women indicted in connection with the murder, is now seeking a way out by seeking to separate herself from the crime and transfer the blame onto her co-conspirators, notably her lover Shay Gate. From the outset, Alicia Andrews has played a significant role in the murder inquiry of Julio Foolio alongside her C-ending Isaiah Chance. Her boyfriend at the time, Shy Gathright, and Rashad Murphy Andrews was implicated in the premeditated ambush that resulted in Foolio's tragic death. Surveillance footage and phone records have placed her at multiple. Premeditated intent need not be long. It merely requires sufficient time for reflection before the act of murder is carried out. In Foolio's case, the surveillance footage captures the suspect methodically taking their positions around the parking lot, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Their actions leave little doubt that the crime was deliberate, planned, and executed with ruthless efficiency. Had the suspect shown remorse or acknowledged the severity of their crime, they might have avoided facing the death penalty. Locations on the night of the murder, following Foolio and his entourage to 2 nightclubs before the last ambush at a Holiday Inn parking lot in Tampa. Police established that Andrews was not only an accessory but an active participant in the crime using her phone. Andrews reportedly helped arrange contact between her boyfriend, Gathright, and the other accused as they trailed Foolio across numerous places. Her car was also employed in the operation, with Andrew caught on video surveillance at key times leading up to the murder. She was there at the site of the crime, making it impossible for her to claim complete ignorance of the events that transpired. Yet, despite the mounting evidence against her, Andrews is now trying to change the narrative, painting herself as a victim rather than a perpetrator. Her legal team has filed motions seeking to shift blame onto her co-defendants, particularly emphasizing the abusive relationship she had with Gathright, a dynamic they argue coerced her into participating in the crime. In a recent court filing, Alicia Andrews' defense team unveiled their strategy to shift blame, but was not fully investigated. They contend that this dynamic was crucial to understanding Andrews' involvement in the crime, and that without fully exploring the impact of this abuse on her actions, the prosecution's case is one-sided. The defense team has argued that Andrews' role in the murder may have been the result of fear and coercion rather than willing participation in the plot. These claims have added a new layer of complexity to the case as the defense attempts to portray Andrews as a pawn in a much larger and more violent scheme or orchestrated by her co-defendants. If the court buys into this narrative, it could potentially lessen her sentence or even exonerate her from the most serious charges. However, Alicia Andrews' attempts to shift blame and portray herself as a victim of circumstance are complicated by her own history of lies and inconsistencies from the moment of her arrest. Andrews has been less than forthcoming with law enforcement. During her post-Miranda interview, she repeatedly lied about her whereabouts on the night of the murder and downplayed her role in the events leading up to Foolio's death. At first, Andrews claimed that she and Chance were merely out looking to party and had visited the 2 nightclubs Teasers and Truth 18 with no ill intent. She said they had approached the club's entrances to ask about admission fees, but surveillance footage later debunked this claim. Andrews then tried to explain away her presence at the murder scene, claiming that she and Chance were lost and had accidentally turned into the parking lot where Foolio and his entourage located. This excuse was also quickly proven false as investigators uncovered evidence that Andrews and Chance had been tailing Foolio for hours before the final ambush. Despite these lies, Andrews admitted to certain key details during her interview. She acknowledged that she had allowed Chance to use her phone to communicate with Gathright, and she admitted that she and Chance were in the vicinity of the crime scene at the time of the murder. These admissions, coupled with the surveillance footage and phone records, have made it difficult for Andrews to convincingly portray herself as an innocent bystander. Faced with overwhelming evidence, Andrews' defense team has adopted a strategy of casting doubt on the prosecution's case by highlighting potential investigative failures and introducing alternative narratives. One of their primary arguments is that law enforcement did not adequately investigate other potential suspects who were with Foolio on the night of the murder. The defense claims that several of Foolio's companions had violent criminal histories and were carrying weapons at the time of the shooting, yet police failed to thoroughly interrogate these individuals. The defense also pointed to inconsistencies in the statements of Foolio's companions, arguing that these discrepancies were ignored by law enforcement in their rush to build a case against Andrews and her co-defendants. According to the defense, this failure to follow up on alternative leads has resulted in a skewed narrative that unfairly places the blame on Andrews and her co-conspirators while allowing other potential suspects to evade scrutiny. In their court filings, Andrews' legal team invoked the U.S. Supreme Court case Keys v. Whitley to argue that the prosecution has a duty to discover and disclose any evidence that might be Favorable to the defendant, they contend that the police's failure to investigate other individuals who may have had motive to kill Folio constitutes a significant omission that could weaken the case against Andrews. By raising these points, the defense hopes to create reasonable doubt in the minds of jurors and open the door for a potential acquittal or reduced sentence for. Florida has already announced its intention to seek the death sentence for some of Andrews' co-defendants, including Gathright Chance and Rashad Murphy, although Andrews herself has not been named in the death penalty notice. She still faces the potential of life in prison without the possibility of parole if convicted of first-degree murder as the trial date approaches. Andrews' legal team will need to provide persuasive evidence to persuade the jury that she was only a victim of circumstance rather than an active participant in Foolio'S murder. Whether they can effectively make that case remains to be seen in what may be her last opportunity to escape a life sentence. Alicia Andrews may be exploring a controversial technique, snitching. According to reports floating around the case, Andrews is willing to deliver incriminating information against her co-defendants in return for a lower sentence. This step would not only reflect her eagerness to avoid the worst punishments, but also further complicate the legal dynamics of the case. If Andrews turned on her former allies, could potentially shift the balance of power in the courtroom, offering the prosecution valuable insider information that could strengthen their case against the other defendants as the legal proceedings unfold. All eyes will be on Andrews to see whether she takes the stand against her co-conspirators and whether her cooperation will be enough to save her from spending the rest of her life behind bars, because from the look of things, the cops might be needing information about a man who was rumored to have orchestrated the whole murder. Young Ace. The issue of Young and Ace's participation persists since Julio Foolio's death reached the press. One name has appeared constantly: Young and Ace. The rivalry between the two rappers had fueled Jacksonville's drill scene for years, leading to violent confrontations and multiple losses. With Foolio's death on his 26th birthday, speculation and suspicion have naturally turned toward Ace. His recent actions, cryptic statements, and suggestive lyrics have only added to the public's questions, leaving many to wonder if Foolio's murder was a deliberate attack coordinated by Ace or merely the lethal escalation of their long ongoing feud. Adding fuel to the fire is the viral video of an unidentified man masked and disguised claiming responsibility for Foolio's murder. The masked man, wearing an orange beanie and concealing his face, insisted that he was the one who smacked Foolio on his birthday night, carrying out the hit supposedly ordered by Young Gene. Ace on the tape said that Ace had paid him $10,000 to murder Fio, saying, "Everything I love, bro, on the dead homies. Bro, I poured everything on my soul, on my kids. I'm the one who slapped Julio that night when he was dropped at his birthday party." Bro, this statement, whether true or AOA to generate controversy, has further deepened suspicion about Young Gene. Ace. The statement also appeared to reflect a lack of remorse from the accused murderer, who justified his actions as part of a trade. That is what it is, bro. It doesn't give. It's about the money, everyone can get it. Fio had it coming to him. The man's evident loyalty to AC's crew, ATK AC's top killers, further lent an ominous air to his statements, suggesting a strong motive tied to their ongoing feud with Foolio's KTA gang. Despite these allegations, police have neither confirmed the authenticity of the video nor made any moves to arrest the masked man. This lack of law enforcement action has frustrated some in the public, who wonder if Young and Ace, due to his fame and wealth, may be receiving preferential treatment. The claims in the video, although unverified, have ignited an online firestorm that allusions to Foolio's murder. 7 days a week we run this, we are spinning any day this week. I bet it comes up missing. Best away from their client by introducing claims of domestic abuse. They argue that Andrews' relationship with Gate was marked by emotional and physical manipulation, leaving her with little agency or ability to resist his demands. According to the defense, Gath rights control over Andrews extended to the night of the murder, where he allegedly coerced her into aiding in the crime. The defense has emphasized the fact that this abusive relationship was known to law enforcement. Remain on point. What? He better not be out here sliding. The phrase appeared to brag of a continual state of war where one slip-up may lead to terrible repercussions. Ace's frequent threats against an anonymous who is attempting and dying look to many intended at Fio, adding to the terrifying impact of the lyrics. Ace allegedly brandished a bottle of Don Julio tequila in the video, a symbolic allusion to Foolio's rap name Julio. Foolio social media erupted with emotions, with many viewers recognizing the Don Julio bottle and labeling it a disrespectful parody of Julio's murder. One YouTube user remarked the Don Julio bottle in the movie is devilish, while another noted Mark claiming corpses had to be the stupidest flex in history. This inflammatory imagery, together with Ace's post-murder silence on the topic, has kept public curiosity and suspicions alive, while Ace's defenders contend that the song and its date were coincidence. Others feel it was a calculated move to take. We have people that are always watching them. Watt's remarks made it clear that law enforcement was well aware of the gang affiliations of both Foolio and Young and Ace, and that they were not taking Foolio's death lightly. Yet, despite the public pressure, there has been no indication that the police have concrete evidence linking Ace directly to Foolio's murder. As the public continues to dissect youngin' Ace's lyrics, social media posts, and actions, the question of his involvement in Foolio'S death looms large for some. Ace's calculated silence, provocative lyrics, and carefully timed denials have cast him as a villain willing to exploit violence for clout. Others view him as a talented artist caught in the crosshairs of a violent culture that often claims its participants' lives regardless of the truth. The perception of Ace's involvement could have lasting consequences on his career and public image. The shadow of Foolio'S murder may hover over Ace, with fans and critics alike questioning his participation in the terrible death of a fellow rapper. For more stuff like this, click on the video appearing on your screen now.